Welcome to the FF Face-Off, where fantasy football is debated.
All right. Welcome back, folks, to the FF Face-Off. My name is Michael Hoff. You can follow me at the FF Realist, and today it's a bit of a return for those who don't know. But yeah, so we're going to be doing a best ball draft today. We're going to be doing this show every show after in honor of our dear friend Anthony Servino, the ever handsome, the ever charming, the ever always with us, Anthony Servino. So yeah, today we're going to do a best ball draft. We're going to have a good time. I will, before I get started, I will do a cheers to Anthony. So we look forward to bringing you the same great content all season long, all off season long. We're going to be giving it all to you. Feel free, if you're here, feel free to like and subscribe. If you want to send in any kind of super chat, you can feel free to do so. And yeah, Zach Linton is in here. He says, yo, and yeah, Pete, you win the prize pool. Pete called it. He said Zach would be the first one in here. So there you go. I had a feeling Pete was going to win that, but there you go. So welcome, Zach. Welcome, Pete. But yeah, so we're going to be doing a best ball draft today. Just getting our feet wet. We're going to be putting out some other content. Right now, we're going to be looking to get into a best ball $5. We're going to do, what's the latest $5 we've got here? Let's see this. It's they still haven't got the Pomeranian here, which we still need for Anthony. We got to get that accomplished at some point. Let's go with the German Shepherd $5 entry fee. It's only going to be 20-second clock, so it's going to be a little bit quick. That's going to be okay. We're going to have a good time with it. I'll explain some of my picks to you, explain some of my draft strategy. If you have any questions, feel free to fire them into the chat. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess we could just simply get rolling at this point. So let's do that. Let's cut the foreplay. I'm going to bring up the screen here. There you go. And I'm now small. That's fine. You don't want to see me too much. But let's get into it. Let's join this draft right meow. And let's see how long it takes to fill. 20-second clocks. Usually they fill quick. Waiting for 9 people. Well, that'll be a lot of awkward sounds. So there you go. I don't have any of the clever sound drops I used to. We're going to get those back. It should be a good time. But yeah, so looking forward to putting content out here. If you were a frequenter before, feel free to come on back. I will be here. I will be doing stuff with First Read Fantasy as well. So definitely check all of that out. We've got you covered wire to wire with all of the great fantasy football content. And of course, from now on, this is all in loving memory of one Anthony Servino. We're already waiting for one person. Actually, we're waiting on nobody at this point. So we are actually ready to get started. I am picking from the 6th spot, right where I don't want to be. So that's fantastic. This is not a super flex, so we're only taking 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end. There is a flex, I believe, involved. Best ball, if you're not used to best ball, maybe you're just a fantasy football guy. Best ball is fantastic because you want to know why. You don't have to set a lineup. Every single time you pick your team, it takes the best score from every single week that you have. It assembles that lineup. The best team at the end of the year wins the pot. It's always a good time. There's some playoffs involved depending on what format you pick. Underdog Fantasy's got you covered wire to wire. So I would definitely be sure to check that out. Zach said, I made a trade earlier today. I kind of hate it trade. I kind of hate it. Loveland and Mixon for James Cook and Kincaid. If you're getting the James Cook and Kincaid side, I don't love it. I mean, I don't love Mixon either, to be honest with you, but we'll see what Cook's going to do. I don't think Cook is long for things out there in Buffalo. I know he showed up. I know he's planning on practicing. Kincaid, too, last year was a rough year. It's tight end premium, which is good. That does help. 0.25 per carry. I guess I don't hate it. I would probably like the Loveland and Mixon side, to be quite honest with you, but it's a pretty close trade. But I'm kind of sour on some Buffalo Bills players outside of the obvious Josh Allen. But we're starting this draft here. We got Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CD Lamb are going off the board. Our first running back is Bijan Robinson, who, by the way, is my number 1 ranked running back. And now I'm on the clock. Saquon Barkley goes. Let's see what we're doing here. You know what? Let's start off with a bang. This would probably make Anthony smirk. Let's go with Christian McCaffrey over Jahmyr Gibbs. I have him ranked over Jahmyr Gibbs anyway. Jahmyr Gibbs is my 4th ranked running back. So let's get a running back in the mix there, Mr. CMC. Jamie says, "Hey, you're back." Well, I mean, you never left, but on the channel. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot to explain that we won't explain, but yes, I'm here. So it's fantastic to be here. Happy to bring some content to you guys. But yeah, so it took a while, but better late than never, I guess, is what they say. All right. After Christian McCaffrey, we get Jahmyr Gibbs, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors goes off the board at 9, Nico Collins at 10. Waiting to see when our next running back goes. Let's see what happens here. Pick 11. Then we get the turn here. Then we'll go into the second round. Listen, everything I've been hearing about Christian McCaffrey is that he's looking good in camp. He's looking like his former self, so we'd love to hear that. Let me make this. That's much better. For some reason, that circle was killing the shit out of me. So there you go. Devon Achane, that's the next running back who goes off the board. I like him quite a bit. My 7th ranked running back on the year. After that, on the turn, we see 2 wide receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brian Thomas goes off the board. Let's see what we have in store for myself. I'm going to probably ideally look to go with a wide receiver here. We'll see what's available. I don't want to screw up your view too much, people, but I will say after Brian Thomas goes Derrick Henry, Ashton Genty, Drake London. We're getting dangerously close to me, A.J. Brown. So some wide receivers are going off the board in which I was looking to take a wide receiver. Oof. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. All right. Let's go with Ladd McConkey. I will take Ladd McConkey. I will take the receptions portion of that. I did debate there for a hot second going with a Jonathan Taylor, but I did not. So there we go. Zach Linton says Cook could be somewhere else and Kincaid could just suck, but Loveland can only be so involved in Mixon's just aging asset. I get it. It's kind of like it's kind of like a mad trade. It's like both sides. It's like, does anybody really win on either side of that trade? I mean, I think you could make a case for either side being the winner of that trade. I get why you made the move. I do. But yeah, so I mean, we'll see where James Cook goes. That's the interesting part of that trade. I'm out of Kincaid. But yeah, we'll see. I don't believe Buffalo is going to give James Cook a contract. Zach also says CMC stays healthy. He's the number 1 RB. Well, I still put him at number 3 right now, but I get it. The potential's there. If you factor in, even if he does some of the scoring that he did in 2023, even if he's down a step from that year, he's still one of the best fantasy football backs out there. So I get it. There's a case to be made. Anyway, after I took Ladd McConkey, Jonathan Taylor did go off the board, who I was going to take there at the 7th pick of the second round. Jonathan Taylor, Bucky Irving, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Trey McBride are second tight end because Brock Bowers went off the board just before. I have to pick, so I'm going to shut up now. I'm just kidding. I can't shut up because it's a podcast. That would be awkward to have the radio sounds. Speaking of Buffalo, screw it. Let's get weird. Let's take quarterback right away. Let's take Josh Allen. So there you go. Sometimes I like to do that. Sometimes I like to get a pillar at each position. So I'm taking the first quarterback there in Josh Allen off the board. I'm sure Lamar Jackson will go in these next few picks. Omarion Hampton is an interesting one. Keeps climbing up draft boards thanks to Najee Harris and his fireworks antics. He just went now with the 8th pick of the 3rd round. And there goes Lamar Jackson right after him, 9th pick of the 3rd round. So starting to see some quarterbacks here. Just so you know, some of these best ball drafts are super flex. This one is not one of those. So I'm not going to worry about quarterback for quite a while. That's the beauty of it. I will say, it's the age-old thing. People always ask, like, oh, like, is this a good year to wait on quarterback? Is this a good year? Every year's a good year to wait on quarterback. There's a lot of great quarterbacks out there, especially when you're looking at best ball, because you're not worrying about starting the player. You're just worrying about getting the best week out of them. So anyway, you could wait in the position. I could have. Maybe I should have. We'll see how my draft turns out. We'll go over it at the end. But Josh Allen's my guy. After that, we do see in the few picks after that, Lamar Jackson goes, like I said, then Jaden Daniels goes early in the 4th round, second pick of the 4th round to be exact. We see another tight end, another quarterback, George Kittle off the board at 4.4. I'd rather draft George Kittle than draft Trey McBride, to be honest with you. And that's nothing against Trey McBride. He's actually my number 1 ranked tight end. Just if we're talking about price, that's where I'm leaning. I'm going to go wide receiver here. I'm going to go with an interesting pick. I'm going to go with Mr. Rashee Rice. If you don't listen to them, risers and fallers, Mr. Pete Nova and Chuck Bass, they talked about some training camp battles, and they are making a pretty good case there for Rashee Rice in terms of his draft costs going down. Before we got any kind of word on what the legal ramifications were or what he was getting saddled with or, what he earned, I guess, by, being an idiot. Rashee Rice was getting drafted in about the second round, late second round or so. Right now, if I can get him there in the 4th round, mid to late 4th round, and he's my second wide receiver behind Ladd McConkey, I'll shoot that shot. I'll take it. So there you go. I do expect a suspension to be coming. We'll see what the NFL does. They're notoriously, they're consistently inconsistent in how they handle out those fines or suspensions. So I know they say they have a criteria, but I call bullshit on that. So we'll see where it goes. So we do have a little bit of a run on receivers after I take Rashee Rice. Closing out the 4th round, you get Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Jameson Williams. They sprinkled in a Kenneth Walker in there, and then George Pickens. The wide receiver run continues in the early 5th round. Jaden Waddle, DK Metcalf, Devonta Smith. I'm a few picks away here. I'd like to circle back to running back if I could. Currently, I have, let me see here. Where am I? I apologize. I have 1 running back, 1 quarterback, of course, and 2 wide receivers. If I could get a Chuba Hubbard or an Alvin Kamara, you know what? I'm going to take I can't not take Alvin Kamara. I love him too much. Let's just do that. Alvin Kamara is off the board. He goes to me. That's a fantastic way to start your team. I will take the tandem of Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara. So far, I don't hate this team. We'll see how it fills out at the end, taking a quarterback that early. But feeling pretty good so far. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself. Feel free while you're here. Feel free to hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button too. Help us out immensely. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. We're going to have a lot of fun here. And, I will tell folks a little peek behind the curtain. A lot of what is made here, in terms of money that's made off of this, it's going to be going to Anthony's wife and son. I take great pride in that. So if you're here, we appreciate it. It helps us out immensely. All the more reason why you should hit that like and hit that subscribe button. But enough of that. Let's get into the 6th round here. Rome Odunze goes with the first pick in the 6th round. Juwan Jennings goes late in the 5th. There's a little bit of good faith going on there in Santa Clara. Juwan Jennings showed up to camp. He is participating. Did look to be chopping it up well with Mr. Kyle Shanahan. So a little bit of good faith there. I imagine they expect to get a contract done, and that's why Juwan's there. Doesn't feel too threatened. So good for both sides. If there's anything that's needed there in Santa Clara, it's some stability at the wide receiver position, especially because we don't know when the heck Brandon Ayuk's going to be back. So after Rome Odunze, we get Chris Olave, James Conner, RJ Harvey, Caleb Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, and it is now my turn to pick. I've got 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. I take him in just about every draft. Apparently, I'm getting everybody who could be in legal trouble, but I'm going to go with Jordan Addison here as my 3rd wide receiver. One of a few wide receivers last year that had multiple games with 30 or more fantasy points. So I will shoot my shot there on Mr. Jordan Addison. Again, if he sits the first couple games, whatever happens, I think his suspension will be less than Rashee Rice. Hopefully, whoever I draft after this will be able to lessen the load in terms of me having to endure them not playing any particular weeks. Let's get on with this, though. After Jordan Addison, we see DeAndre Swift, Jacoby Myers, Isaiah Pacheco, who I'm kind of out on, to be honest with you, in terms of sixth round. I'd rather go much later with a Kareem Hunt, maybe like an Elijah Mitchell at the back end of my drafts. I just don't know how consistent Isaiah Pacheco is going to be on a week to week basis. Be that as it may, he goes off the board with the 10th pick in the sixth round. Then we see Joe Burrow. Chris Godwin closes out the sixth round. We are now on to David Montgomery to start the seventh round. So, for a little update for folks, my team so far, looking at, and again, picking from the sixth spot, Christian McCaffrey, Lad McConkey, Josh Allen, Rashee Rice, Alvin Kamara, and then Mr. Jordan Addison. I am now 2 picks away. Matthew Golden and Deebo Samuel just went off the board. I think Deebo is going to surprise some people. I know everybody just wants to joke and say that he's fat, but I think he's going to surprise some people, to be quite honest with you, this year, and I'm looking forward to it. Let's take a wide receiver who's not that popular, but I like the potential target share that he can get there in New England with Josh McDaniel there as the offensive coordinator, Drake Mays as quarterback. We're going to go Stephon Diggs with the 6th pick of the 7th round. That's adding myself yet another wide receiver. So I'm getting a little thick there at wide receiver. It might be time to look at running back. I debated looking at tight end there. I think I'm going to kick that can down the road a little bit. We talk about waiting on the quarterback position. You could really wait on the tight end position. My brother from another mother, God rest his soul, Anthony Savino, he took great pride in waiting on the tight end position. It was almost awkward when he would take a tight end early. So maybe I'll follow his lead on that one, and we'll wait. We'll take a tight end a little bit later. It is nice to be on this channel, though. It is good to be, I guess, home, I guess you could say. Appreciate you guys for sticking with me. And we're going to have a lot of content coming your way. But for now, I'm 11 picks away. Pat Mahomes just went off the board to close out the 7th round. We are now into the 8th round of this one. We'll see where this goes. I got to look at this point. I got to take this off the screen for a hot second. I got to see maybe. Now, I debated taking TJ Hawkinson earlier, but I thought I could wait on that. So we'll see where he winds up. I think I'm going to go with a 3rd running back or a tight end. I will say in a lot of these best ball drafts, I tend to kick the 3rd running back can down the road. And I think I might do it a little bit further because I like TJ Hawkinson this year. I think you're looking at, and I'm probably going to get sniped in maybe this next pick, but I like TJ Hawkinson this year. He's a year removed from the knee injury that he had. He's going to be starting wire to wire this year. So I like it. Let's go with TJ Hawkinson. And bam, there we go. So you go. I added a tight end. So now I've got 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Once it gets back to me, we're going to take a look at the running backs and see what's available. I got a couple guys that I'm keeping my eye on to see if they make it back to me. We shall see. Let's see the run that happens here. Let's see if we get any running backs. After TJ Hawkinson goes Michael Pittman with the 8th pick in the 8th round. If he has a capable quarterback not named Anthony Richardson, he could potentially do well. Also, if Michael Pittman can stay healthy, to be honest with you. We see another tight end go off the board after Michael Pittman, that being Travis Kelce with the 9th pick of the 8th round. Jaylen Warren goes off the board. That's fine. I wasn't looking at Jaylen Warren. We'll see if people can realize who I'm looking towards, perhaps. Cooper Kupp goes off the board. That's fine by me. Now looking for another wide receiver. Let's see what happens here at the turn. And at the turn, they have 0 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. So there is a potential to take a running back. They don't with the first pick of the last pick of the 8th round, I should say. They take Baker Mayfield. Let's see how they start off the 9th round here as it gets ready to make its way back towards moi. Tyrone Tracy, that was who I wanted. So, hey, screw you, T.S. or T. Sanders with a Z at the end. I hate that. Don't like you. All right, let's course correct because that's going to happen. Junkins goes with the 2nd pick of the 9th round. Then we get a little Keon Coleman action. Justin Fields goes off the board, who, by the way, had the dislocated foot. He's doing just fine, though. He was already out there on the practice field. I am now on the clock. I don't like this at all. You know what? I'm going to take the other running back in New York. I'm going to take Cam Scattaboo, who, by the way, looks like a very entertaining fellow so far in Giants camp. If you guys have been following all the training camp stuff going on, Zach says, good hawk pick with that news. Yeah, absolutely. So I will take that. I probably should have waited longer at tight end. I know I said I was debating doing that because that's what Anthony would have done, but I did decide to jump in there, take a tight end. I do feel good about Hawkinson this year. I think he's going to be a top 5 tight end. I will be posting some of my rankings. We'll do some of those videos. We can discuss that. We can hash all that out. That should be a good time. But we'll do that throughout the offseason. Let me pull the draft board back up here so you guys just aren't staring into the abyss. That would be nice of me, right, as a proper host. After Cam Scattaboo, we see Brandon Ayuk go off the board. Evan Ingram now of the Denver Broncos, Mr. Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, and then Trey Harris with the second to last pick in the 9th round. Let's see how the 9th round ends and the 10th round begins. Right now, picking at the turn, you got 2 quarterbacks. Where were we? Oh, there we go. 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 5 wide receivers, no tight end. They do take Luther Burden. Do they take a tight end here? Let's see. Countdown. 6, 5, awkward, 4, no, maybe. Jared Goff. All right. So, okay. There goes another quarterback. That's interesting. All right. So, Tyler Warren goes off the board. I'm a little iffy on those rookie tight ends, Loveland and Warren. I know we talked about Loveland earlier with the trade, but I believe that was more geared towards a dynasty. If we're talking about best ball, though, I don't know, especially Tyler Warren. But all right. So we got Rashad Bateman going off the board, then Rashid Shaheed, then Zach Charbonnet, and it's now my turn. I've got 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 4 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Let's see what we've got here. You know what? Let's dip into a little bit of the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go with a Hollywood Brown as well on top of the Rashee Rice. Get another portion of that Chiefs offense. By the way, I expect Pat Mahomes to be better this year in terms of fantasy. Obviously, we know he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He is one of the elite quarterbacks in the league. Actually, he is the elite quarterback, I should say. We'll have Steve D'Angelo on here at some point and Pete Nova to go back and forth about Josh Allen. But for now, point being, I do think that Pat Mahomes has a better fantasy year. I don't think that it's going to be what we were used to in his first couple of years, but I think it's going to be better than what we saw the last 2 years in terms of fantasy points on a per game basis, getting balls to the wide receiver. I do think we see a little bit more of that. I think we get back to good in terms of the passing volume there for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I will take my shot. I won't be drafting another Chiefs wide receiver. So that'll probably do it there. I'll go with Rashee Rice. I'll go with Hollywood Brown. I now have 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 5 wide receivers, tight end. I always tend to go a little bit heavy on the wide receivers. Running backs sometimes tend to be a little more iffy for me. I am now on the clock, so I should shut my mouth and maybe make a pick. You know what? Let's go with a guy. Listen, I know everybody's excited about Travion Henderson, rightfully so, but I do think that Ramondre Stevenson will still get some work this year. So I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson. So that now gives me a 4th running back. I will tell you guys, I always like to talk about this. If you're doing a best ball draft here, if it's 1 quarterback, even 2 quarterback, whatever, super flex, who cares? Always check the bye weeks, especially when you're taking your quarterback. It's different when you're taking 5, 6, 7 running backs, same thing with wide receiver, multiple tight ends. You could be left on an island if you get 2 quarterbacks with the same bye week, and then all of a sudden you have to account for that. That could be a huge problem. That could be a week in which you get big zilch in terms of quarterback. It's not going to help you out in the score column towards the end of the year. So always keep that in mind when you're doing these best ball drafts. By the way, these drafts are a lot of fun. If you go over to underdogfantasy.com, you could also download the fancy app on your phone. Just deposit some money. You can go ahead. You can start drafting right away. It's a good time. It's fun. I always like doing this better than the actual mock drafts because I feel like once people's money is involved, They pay a lot more attention than they would say if it was just, hey, I'm just going to join a mock draft and maybe I'm there on time, maybe I'm not. Maybe I miss a few picks, maybe I don't. So I always feel like this helps you give a good barometer of what people are thinking. It's not identical to redraft because, again, you approach best ball differently than you would redraft because in redraft, you actually have to physically start the guys as opposed to best ball. You're just going to kind of wait and see who has the best week. So it's a different way to approach it, but I do like the perspective of you get a good idea of how people are feeling about certain players. I'll shut up now, though. I might be time to take a second quarterback, though, I will say, because Michael Penix and Trevor Lawrence just went off the board. I am now on the clock, and let me see who my – so I got Josh Allen there in week 7. You know what? Let's just check quarterback off now. Now I don't have to worry about it. We'll take Justin Herbert, who, by the way, has a bye week in week 12, that being the Los Angeles Chargers. Now I feel like I'm pretty much set at quarterback. I got to be honest. I'm probably not taking a third quarterback at this point now. Obviously, if it's super flex, that obviously changes the game. Then you'll be more inclined to take a third quarterback. But for me, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, I'll roll with those guys. So that now gives me 2 quarterbacks off the board. I feel like it might be time to go with another wide receiver. So we shall see as the world turns. If I had the Jeopardy sound drop, I would have done that, or some kind of awkward elevator music while I was taking a sip. But I'm sorry, I'm hosting by myself. So some liquids need to be involved in order to keep the keep the voice going. So there you go. We're now 8 picks away from me. We are headed into the 13th round. Appreciate you guys watching along. I will read off the team towards the end, but feel free to like and subscribe. If you have any questions about your drafts, any questions about my draft that I'm doing here, feel free to fire it into the comments. I will most certainly respond. Jack Betch goes off the board there with the first pick of the 13th round. A Raiders rookie wide receiver who's expected to get targets. Cedric Tillman is another guy I like. He goes off the board there with the second pick of the 13th. Jesus Christ. Mike, which round is it? 13 or 18? 13th round. Tua goes off the board there with the third pick. Then we get a little Kyle Pitts. I'm not biting. I'm not doing it. Which, by the way, watch, this is the year that he goes off. But I'm not biting Kyle Pitts. I'm not doing it. Matthew Stafford goes off the board there with the 5th pick of the 13th round. That means yours truly is now on the clock. Let's look at wide receivers specifically. You know what? I said I wasn't going to do it. I said I wasn't going to take many more. I said I wasn't excited about Buffalo Bills players, but I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Josh Palmer. I think, again, in best ball, where I'm not relying on Josh Palmer to deliver me the world, I will see what he can do for me at certain points of the season. Again, right now my wide receivers before him, Hollywood Brown, Stephon Diggs, Jordan Addison, Rashee Rice, Ladd McConkey. So it's not like I'm hinging all of my best ball hopes there on Joshua Palmer. So I think we're going to be okay. After Joshua Palmer goes Bryce Young, Xavier Legette, his teammate. Then we go with Isaac Guerendo, Jake Ferguson, and now we are headed towards the end of the 13th round, beginning of the 14th round. This draft, I believe, there are 18 rounds? Yeah, 18 rounds. So almost there, folks. Almost there. So there we go. Oh, yeah, we got a stranger named Steve D'Angelo who said, first time here. I just subscribed to the show. Oh, appreciate that, Steve. There you go. Steve's a complete newcomer. Wink, wink. So there you go. Appreciate that. We're going to get Steve on here at some point. I got to talk to Steve. We got to have a conversation because all this kind of happened very fast. All right, end of the 13th round. Tyler Algier goes off the board, followed by Hunter Henry with the first pick of the 14th round. Then goes Austin Eckler. We're headed into this. We're headed rounding third, headed into home. I got 2 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 1 tight end. Might be a good time to check the tight end market there, check the running back market, see what's going on, especially when I'm seeing names like Austin Eckler and Bigsby going off the board. That can't be good. And my phone's ringing, but I don't. We're going to go with that. Jalen McMillan goes off the board there with the 5th pick of the 14th round. Then Mr. Geno Smith. I am now on the clock. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let's kick the running back can down the road. Let's take my guy Brenton Strange. And I told you guys check bye weeks. I didn't check the bye weeks in the tight end. So do they match up? Nope, we're good. We got TJ Hawkinson with a week 6 bye. Brenton Strange, whom I like quite a bit this year. I think he's a guy you could stream a lot. If you're into DFS, definitely check this show out throughout the year. We're going to talk about DFS, but I like Brenton Strange at DFS too. I think he's going to be dirt cheap. So good on the bye weeks there. After Brenton Strange goes Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Blue, Jalen Wright, Roshan Johnson. We're about to round out the 14th round, get into the 15th round. I will say, as much as I hate the 20-second clock, it does move these drafts around very fast. Maybe 25 seconds couldn't hurt, though. Alec Pierce goes off the board, first pick of the 15th. Then we get a little bit of tight end action. Mike Gesicki, Jonnu Smith, Adam Thielen. Old man Adam Thielen. I can't quit you, Adam Thielen, but I can't have you on my team because you were just taken. So there we go. Let's see what happens here. I am up in one pick. Cam Ward goes off the board. Let's visit into tight end here. And you know what? I'm going to take Nick Chubb here. I will just say, as much as I hate the running back room in Dallas, I do think that there's going to be a running back there. I mean, Miles Sanders was close to the board there. I do think one of those running backs is going to hit on a routine basis, minimally, because I do think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be top 5 in pass attempts on a per game basis this year. But we'll see what happens there. But right now, I'll go with Nick Chubb. I know Joe Mixon showed up in a boot, I believe, but he's supposed to be just fine. They're not worried about him there in Houston, but I got to imagine Nick Chubb is going to vulture at some point. So let's go that way. As we round out the 15th round, we do get some wide receivers off the board. Let me get my head straight there. Deontay Thornton, Demario Douglas. What is wrong with me? And then Wan'Dale Robinson. We see a former Cowboy, now Carolina Panther Rico Dowdle. I will get my words straight at some point. Darius Slayton goes off the board with the last pick of the 15th round. See a little bit of a Giants wide receiver there, wide receiver love there at the end of the 15th round. So there you go. There's that. DJ Giddens goes off the board. And now we are headed into the 16th. Again, this is going to be 18 rounds. K. Dotton comes off the board. It's coming back to me. I've got 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 6 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. So we'll see where I want to go here. At this point, I feel pretty good in terms of I feel pretty stable in terms of my quarterbacks and my positions here. So we're probably just going to look at who's best available at this point. You approach these late rounds as if say you went very wide receiver heavy, you need to focus on running back, you go that way. But me here, I probably feel pretty comfortable right now. Shocker that Miles Sanders is still there. I'm not going to take him. You know what? I'm going to take now, old man, DeAndre Hopkins. I feel like at some point he's got to give you a boom week, right? He's DeAndre Hopkins, and you're getting DeAndre Hopkins in the 16th round. And I've got plenty of other wide receivers that can help me out. I mean, I'm sitting there he's now my 7th wide receiver. So I'm not relying on DeAndre Hopkins. I'm just banking on the big week, which he's going to give me 1, maybe 2, and then he'll give me some mediocre weeks. So I'll shoot my shot on that. After DeAndre Hopkins goes Jarquez Hunter, Diami Brown, Aaron Rodgers, Sam Darnold. So a little bit quarterbacks going off the board there. Do I want to take a 3rd quarterback? I don't think so. I have 2 picks left. Again, my quarterbacks are Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. So I feel pretty good about that. The returning Darren Waller goes with the last pick of the 16th round. We'll now see what they do in the 17th round here, which, by the way, T. Sanders with a Z at the end. I'm still upset with you for sniping Tyrone Tracy from me earlier. He does take Jalen Coker, like that pick, Elijah Arreo, Marshawn Lloyd, and we're a few picks away from my 17th round pick. Let's see who we're going to go with. Again, going to kind of be like a best available scenario here because, again, I still feel great about my team right now. We do get the fourth team getting timed out. Jalen Royals goes over there. Rashard Smith. So we got KC. And now it goes to me. Ugh. All right, fine. I'll take him. He's sitting there. No, you know what? I'm not. Wait. Yeah. All right. No. I'm going to take Calvin Austin, actually. I feel like we can get some sneaky games out of Calvin Austin. I shouldn't say don't take the plural of games too literally, too seriously. I mean, maybe like, a game or two. I'll shoot my shot there. And now I'll say this though, after it comes back to me in the 18th round for my final pick, I have enough wide receivers where I'm probably not going with a wide receiver. I mean, I got 8 wide receivers at this point. I just think that's a little much if I take a ninth. So I got 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 8 wide receivers, 2 tight ends. So we'll set up the draft board as it comes back around my way, and we're going to look at taking anybody that's not a wide receiver. And then that'll be it. Then we'll read off the roster. We'll have a good time with it, and then we'll ride off into the sunset. I do appreciate everybody tuning in. Steve says, love Hawkinson this year. Tried to get him last night in a draft, but got sniped. Yeah, by the way, Steve's got a YouTube channel there. Steve, if you I forget if your YouTube channel is just your name or what have you, but let me know and I'll flash on the board so people can check that out. He does a lot of stuff for you folks who can't sleep. He does a lot of late night stuff. Usually high stakes drafts too, which is pretty interesting. All right. So let me see. Rank these wide receivers: DJ, DK, Sutton, Devonta, Flowers, Pickens, T-Mac, Worthy. That's a lot there, good sir. I'll get to that in a second because I'm on the clock. Let me see. I got to make one last pick. You know what? I will take a third quarterback. To hell with it. Let's go with Daniel Jones, who will start more games than Anthony Richardson and will be a better quarterback. Steve, I'm looking at you when I say that. So let me see. Yeah, Steve says he thinks his YouTube channel is his name. So just search Steve D'Angelo. Again, he does a lot of the high stakes stuff. It's pretty cool. Check it out. He does record late. Sometimes I got to watch it when I'm on the train. But be that as it may, get on over there. Give him a watch, give him a like, give him a follow, give him a subscribe, all that fun stuff. Again, rank these wide receivers. So I guess you mean DJ Moore, DK Metcalf, Sutton, Devonta, Flowers, Pickens, T-Mac, Worthy. I don't like Worthy. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of Worthy. I put DJ Moore number 1 out of those names. I actually like the first two how they are, DJ and DK. DJ Moore, DK Metcalf. I think I honestly, and people are probably going to disagree with me on this one, I would put Zay Flowers over Devonta Smith. Then I would go with Pickens, then T-Mac, then Worthy. I'm just not a big Worthy guy. And I know I took 2 Kansas City pass catchers here, but again, I took them in best ball. I feel like the ball is going to be spread out quite a bit. So in terms of redraft, which I assume this is what this question's geared towards, that's how I would do it. So yeah, I would go DJ, DK, Sutton, Flower. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I would roll. Yeah, Worthy would be the last guy. Rank these RBs: JT, Jacobs, Bucky, Chase Brown, Kyron, Brees. It would go JT, Jacobs, Kyron, then Bucky, then Chase, then Brees. I'm a big Kyron Williams guy. Hopelessly devoted, which is kind of awkward because I'm a diehard 49er fan. But there we go. And yeah, he did say this is for redraft, not best ball. Yeah, that's how I ranked them for you was how I would do it. So there you go. And Steve says appreciate it. Steve, appreciate you, buddy. Come on now. All right, draft is now complete. Let's read off my team. 6th pick I had overall. I go again, ended up with 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 7 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. We go Christian McCaffrey, Ladd McConkey, Josh Allen, Rashee Rice, Alvin Kamara, Jordan Addison, Stephon Diggs, TJ Hawkinson, who normally I wouldn't do, but I kind of dig it there in the late 8th round. Cam Scatterboo. Again, I wanted Tyrone Tracy, but he went with the first pick in the 9th round. So I did get Cam Scatterboo, the 9th pick of the 6th round. I feel like those 2 giant running backs are going to go close to each other throughout the summer. Stay tuned. Hollywood Brown, Ramondre Stevenson, whom I still like, even though they got Trevion Henderson over there in New England. Then we go Justin Herbert, Joshua Palmer, Brenton Strange, my guy, Nick Chubb, old man DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Austin, and then Mr. Daniel Jones. So there's my draft. I feel pretty good about it. Let's remove this. There you go. What is this? I'm low on Kyron. He's too volume dependent for me on a team that's drafted RBs 2 years in a row. Don't worry about that. What happened last year when they drafted an RB? How'd that go? Did that hurt Kyron? I know people want to paint a narrative, and I get it. I'm not judging, Jarquez Hunter this year, and Kyron doesn't have a contract. Oh no, are they not? They're going to give the ball to Kyron. Kyron's going to get the running back share there. He's going to have the best volume in terms of pass catching for the Rams as well, in terms of running backs, to be abundantly clear. He's going to get the ball more than any other running back that's employed by the Los Angeles Rams right now. I'm not worried about Kyron this year. I think even if he doesn't get a contract, you're looking at a scenario where that whole philosophy of, well, let's run him into the ground, or let's give him as many carries or as many touches as we can. Let's just use him. Let's just use him and lose him. So there you go. I'm not worried about Kyron Williams at all this year. If you are, I will say the running backs that you had asked me to rank earlier, they are pretty close. Corum was banged up. Yeah, I know. I get it. I'm not worried about Kyron. I'm just not. And listen, if you are somebody who is, I totally get it, because I've heard that from more than just you. Go ahead, take one of those other backs. Again, what were those names you gave me up there? JT, which Josh Jacobs, Bucky. Yeah, I mean, you go with a Bucky Irving, you go with a Chase Brown, you go with a Breece Hall, who, by the way, I think the hate has gone too far on Breece Hall. You hear a couple running back by committee rumors, you hear a couple trade rumors, and all of a sudden people think that he's toast. You can go with any of those other running backs if you're not comfortable with Kyron. I mean, I draft that way a lot. If I'm not comfortable with a player, if I'm not comfortable with a depth chart, guess what? I just don't draft it. So I work smart, not hard. I don't want to deal with the problem. So I think you're okay with whatever you decide. But if you don't want to go Kyron, we could still be friends. That's all good. And speaking of friends, I appreciate all of you for joining me today. Again, this was I know this came out of nowhere. Very impromptu, but on top of being very impromptu, very happy to do so. I will do one last cheers with my lukewarm beer, because I spent the whole time talking. Cheers to one Anthony Servino. God, that's warm and disgusting. But that'll do it for today. Feel free to join us. We're going to be bringing you a whole bunch of content. Until next time, guys, stay thirsty. Be kind to one another. We'll catch you on the flip side. And cheers.